everybody. Along with Joe Simpson, Skip Caray welcoming you to another night of Atlanta Braves baseball, this time from Candlestick Park, where the Braves and Giants open a 3-game series. Sergio Valdez, the former Brave, has suddenly been penciled in as the starter for the Giants. William Van Landingham has some shoulder problems. John Smoltz will be on the mound for the Atlanta Braves, and this is the first day of the new era where they try to speed up baseball. Joe, and I know you were in the umpire's room and talked to him about it. What's the deal?
Well, I talked to Randy Marsh about it, Skip, and really there are no rules changes, only 3 real points to consider. One is that between innings they're going to try to cut it back to 2 minutes and 5 seconds on nights when there's not an ESPN or a baseball network game, so we'll have to hustle to get out, you and I, between innings. The other thing is the hitters will be given a 3-foot leeway outside the batter's box between pitches where they can walk around, but the umpires are saying we're not going to be real confrontational about this. We just want the hitters to understand that they're going to try to keep them close between pitches, and also if there's nobody on base, the pitchers will try to get the pitchers to throw every 12 seconds. Once the batter's in the box and he's taken his position in the box, they want the pitcher to then wind up and throw the ball within 12 seconds. I don't think that's asking too much. So really all the big to-do about this is not real severe, and I don't know that it'll help. We'll see if it happens.
Randy was saying to Bobby Cox, if we all work together, this should be no problem, and hopefully it will not be, and we'll be back with the starting lineups, play-by-play story right after this.
Giants have already taken the field. Let's quickly go to the Tylenol starting lineups. First of all, for the Braves, Marquis Grissom will lead it off. Then Jeff Blauser's at shortstop. Chipper Jones will hit third. Fred McGriff, the cleanup hitter. David Justice, Ryan Klesko, and Javier Lopez will bat next. Mark Lemke bats eighth, and John Smoltz, the pitcher, bats ninth. For the Giants, defensively, Barry Bonds having another MVP-type year in left field. Deion Sanders in center. Glenn Allen Hill in right. Mike Benjamin is at third base. Royce Clayton, the shortstop. Thompson is at second base. Mark Carrion at first. Behind the plate, Kirt Manwaring, and on the mound, Sergio Valdez, 29 years old, 6'1", 190 out of the Dominican Republic, and a former Atlanta Brave. He was penciled in as a starter when Van Landingham came up with a tight shoulder when he arrived at the ballpark this afternoon.
Grissom ready to go. So is Valdez. He features the palm ball. And Marquis pops it up. There's a lot of room in foul territory, but not enough for this one. 0-1. Game started right on time. Marquis moves 2.5 feet away from the batter's box. Now jumps right back in there. Valdez came to the Braves in the Zane Smith trade many moons ago. All the way back to the screen. Evens the count at 1-1. He was 1-2 with the Braves in '89 and had no record in '90. He came along with Kevin Dean, an outfielder, and Nate Minchie, a pitcher. That was not one of our better swaps. Little chopper up the middle. Royce Clayton's a good shortstop. 1 out. Grissom is retired. Jeff Blauser is the batter. He is 5 of his last 13. That's the good news. But 16 of his last 81. That's the bad news. That's a 198 average. The Giants have changed their pitching rotation. Tomorrow it will be Terry Mulholland against Greg Maddux. Tom Glavine against Jamie Brewington on Sunday. The youngster who's pitched well since being called up from Double-A. Blauser hits it hard, but right at Mike Benjamin, and 2 are out in a hurry here. That ball was hit sharply, but right at him, 2 down.
Braves are 5-0 against the Giants this year, and they've been killing them offensively. The Giants pitchers have the worst ERA in the National League, but against the Braves, it's been even worse. Atlanta has been raking them, hitting over 300 against them as a team, and ERA over 8.
41% of the Braves' runs this year have come as a result of homers. 41%. It's funny, the opening day against these guys, 6 straight hits to start the game. We haven't had anything even approaching that since. Chipper Jones doing all right. 23 of his last 66, a 348 average. The 2-0 pitch. Sergio delivers. That's right in there, 2-1.
A lot of deals today before the deadline,
Wow.
huh?
That Yankee clubhouse is going to be an interesting place to hang your hat.
A lot of different types over there.
2 balls and a strike. Fouled away. It's 2-2 today. They added Ruben Sierra, David Cohn. They will soon add, I suppose, Darryl Strawberry.
Makes for a great promotion, I think. Maybe wanted poster night.
You're a bad man. Full count, 3-2 to Jones. The Braves, much has been said and written about them being last in the league in hitting, which they are. But they are 7th in the league in runs scored, which, while not great, is right in the middle of the pack. Well hit down the right side, but foul.
Nice play.
Yeah, that kid reached out and made a play on that ball. Still
Pretty
3-2.
Pretty good breeze blowing out toward right field, which sometimes will create an adventure for right fielders and first and second baseman. Not for that young man.
Ground ball. Good play at first base by Caray, and the inning is over. So the Braves can't get the ball out of the infield against Sergio Valdez in the first. We go to the bottom half. Braves nothing. Giants come to bat.
Go in order in the top half of the inning. Here's Dusty Baker's lineup tonight for the Giants. Deion Sanders will lead it off. Robbie Thompson hits second. Barry Bonds will bat third. The first baseman, Mark Carrion, is the cleanup hitter. He'll be followed by Glenn Allen Hill. Royce Clayton hits sixth. Kirt Manwaring, the catcher, hits seventh. Mike Benjamin, struggling of late, bats eighth at third base, and the pitcher Sergio Valdez bats ninth. The Braves defensively, Klesko, Grissom, and Justice from left to right in the outfield. Jones, Blauser, Lemke, and McGriff on the infield. Behind the plate, Javy Lopez and John Smoltz on the mound to make his 17th start of the year. He has 2 complete games and 1 shutout, an ERA of 2.84, which is among the tops in the league, and an average against him among opponents 233. That's 10th best in the league. And he's been very consistent this year, as those numbers reflect. Lifetime 9-9 against the Giants, but 6-2 here in this ballpark.
Deion leads it off, hitting at .238 with a homer, 13 RBIs, 29 stolen bases. He's 4 of his last 18. He's got a bad ankle as well, but he can still run, as you know. Fastball high, 1 ball, no strikes. We are scoreless, bottom of the first. There's the strike. Sanders didn't think so. The count is 1-1.
The other night in a game at Florida, when he had first joined the ball club, Marlins burned the Giants for 3 triples in the first inning. 2 were hit over Deion's head, and he was having a hard time turning around that bad ankle.
Breaking ball. It's 1-2. Baltimore acquired Bobby Bonilla today, and a player to be named later in exchange for minor league outfielders Damon Buford and Alex Ochoa.
Boy, that Ochoa is supposed to be a terrific player.
Is he?
He was the only guy that was holding up everything to this date.
Here's the wind, and the 1-2 pitch is on the way. Curveball fought off. Count stays the same. The Yankees obtained pitcher David Cohn from Toronto. For minor league pitchers Marty Jansen, Jason Jarvis, and Mike Gordon. Then they traded outfielder Danny Tarterville to the Oakland Athletics for outfielder Ruben Sierra and minor league pitcher Jason Beverlin. High pop. Let's see if it stays in play. Chipper Jones over there near the railing makes the catch, 1 down.
One of the improvements they made in this ballpark a couple of years ago was the elimination of the dirt track around the field to cut down on some of the dust blowing around on windy days. It's more like the surface you would find on an artificial field. The rubbery surface has a warning track instead.
Robbie Thompson's had an awful year, but he's been hot lately. 13 of his last 36, a .331 average. Pops this one right back over our heads. 0-1. The wind and the 0-1 pitch. Fastball high. It's 1-1. Mets placed Blas Minor on the 15-day disabled list and called up Paul Bird from Norfolk. Pirates acquired pitcher Ross Powell from Houston for a player to be named later. 0-2 the count. A lot of stuff going on today. Texas purchased the contract of pitcher Scott Taylor from Oklahoma City. Put Bob Tewksbury on the 15-day disabled list. That's rough for them.
Bad news there.
The 1-2 pitch just missed. 2-2. The Giants are 12th in hitting at .253. Last in pitching, as Joe told you. The Braves have the lowest ERA, 3.35. Did he go? He did. 2 out. Thompson is out of there. 2 away. And here comes a pretty good hitter.
They're kind of like the Braves, Skip. They are down low in average, but they're 4th in the league in runs scored. As you see Thompson trying to stop his swing, he didn't, but Barry Bonds, a heavy contributor to their runs scored total.
The big advantage, first the pitch to Bonds. Downstairs, 1 ball, no strikes. Bonds 11 out of 34 in his career against Smoltz. 3 of those hits home runs. They have stolen this year 92 bases. Braves just 42. Bonds has 17 of those swipes. Strike is called. Of course, in fairness, many of those bases stolen by Deion Sanders before he got here, but Darren Lewis had a few as well.
Yes, he did.
The pitch, a little bit outside.
I said an MVP type year. He's tied for 1st in the league in homers, 2nd in runs scored, 4th in RBIs, 1st in walks, 1st in on-base percentage, 2nd in slugging, 3rd in total bases.
Braves put the shift on. Good pitch, breaking ball right in there. Bonds knew it. So Chipper Jones gets to play shortstop for a while. Everybody else is on the right field side of the bag. Downstairs, full count. Payoff pitch due. Mark Carrion waits to hit next. Strike 3 called, hitting over. Bonds called out on strikes.
Good breaking ball.
2 strikeouts in the first for Smoltz, and after an inning, we are scoreless in Candlestick. We go to the 2nd inning. Fred McGriff leads it off. Valdez got the Braves 1-2-3 in the first. Fastball up and away, 1 ball, no strikes. Mark Wohlers is developing into one of the league's top closers. In the July issue of Chop Talk, he talks about the adjustments he's made to get to the top. The pitch outside, 2-0. Subscribe now to the Braves official magazine. Call 1-800-700-CHOP. 1-800-700-CHOP. Valdez into the wind, and the delivery. Swung, pop foul back, and out of play. Sergio's doing all right.
I talked to Fred before the ball game. He'd been in an 0 for slump before last night, and he got a couple of hits, but I asked him if he was feeling okay, if he was getting a little run down at all, and he said no. He said, you have 6 months to rest when the season's over.
That's about the way he looks at it. Fouled off again. It's 2-2. But the home runs have been few and far between for Fred lately.
Well, that's my point, that home runs to me are not so much whether you're big and strong or small and quick. It's just bat speed.
Foul tip, just stayed alive. It's 2-2.
And of late, he's been a little tardy on some pitches, and that's why I was curious and went to him to ask about it.
The Phillies lost today, and the Expos are losing in the 9th, 8-3 to Colorado. Did he go? Yes. I thought so too. 1 out. Charlie Relaford with the car.
4 home runs in his last 32 ball games, and yes, he did go around.
Here's David Justice. David in a bit of a skid. 8 out of 53, a 151 average.
He had some good at-bats last night, though. You know, that home run was a good swing. Had another ball he hit pretty well to left field.
I guess he and Chipper are leading matinee idols. They get the most little screams, Elvis-like screams when they stand in. That's only, Joe, because you no longer play. If you were still down there, you'd show him a thing or two.
It's a good thing these windows are tinted up here, huh?
Especially those cute little slacks you bought on sale today. Real nice. Pitch.
You're kind of jealous, aren't you?
I don't think I could fit into those, buddy. 1-1 the count. David stepped out 2.4 feet from home plate, so he's okay. The count is 0-2. Signals Jeff Kellogg. The board has it 1-1. Look out, almost hit him. 1-2 the count.
Funny story I heard in the umpire's room today from Jeff Kellogg about his ejection the other night of Bobby Cox. Sort of a lack of communication, you might say.
2-2.
But apparently Bobby was hollering from the dugout in Pittsburgh, where was that pitch? Where was that pitch? And Kellogg said it was inside. Bobby kept chirping a little bit, and Kellogg told him to hush. It's too early, first inning for that kind of stuff. Bobby kept on. Finally threw him out, and Bobby came out to argue, and that's where the discussion started.
2-2 to Justice.
And Bobby ultimately, among other things that he said to Mr. Kellogg, was, and how in the world can you call that pitch high? And Jeff says, I didn't say it was high. I said it was inside. Are you going deaf now too? He said, so with that, Bobby turned around and walked back to the dugout, and Jeff said, I heard him say to someone in the dugout, didn't he say it was high?
That one is a high pop. Manwaring comes back. Let's see if he has room. He does not. It is in the seats. 2 balls, 2 strikes. A wild one at Shea Stadium tonight. They're in the 8th inning, and the Mets lead the Pirates 9-8.
Speaking of the Mets, I think that deal the Orioles made, and I know they gave up a lot to get Bobby Bonilla, and with all due respect to David Cohn, I think that's a big acquisition of the day. I think Bobby Bonilla will help the Orioles a lot.
Hit hard. Good play, Clayton. He can pick it. 2 down. Braves have hit a couple on the nose, but Clayton and Carrion have made a couple of outstanding plays.
He's among the best in the league, if not all of baseball. Great range, good arm. He makes his share of errors, but usually it's because he gets to more balls than most shortstops, and was positioned perfectly for that one.
Ryan Klesko stands in, hitting at .347. 48 of his last 116. That's a cool .414 average.
That's not bad.
No. That was sharp analysis there.
Thank you.
Chased a bad ball. 1-1 the count.
Brian's biggest challenge the next 3 days may be fly balls in this ballpark.
If it starts to swirl. It's blowing hard toward right now, as Joe said. He's in the hole, 1-2. Sergio Valdez is pitching like Christy Mathewson.
Giants go through more pitchers, I think, than any other ball club, don't you?
Yeah, they used to blame it all on Roger Craig. Remember the split finger and all that stuff? But
23 pitchers have been used this year alone. I mean, compare that to the Braves, who haven't used anyone extra other than the guys in the expanded roster early on. 23 different pitchers.
Ground ball to Carrion again. Valdez will cover, but Carrion takes it himself. And the inning is over. The Braves still don't have the ball out of the infield. We go to the bottom half of the 2nd inning, no score.
Fans, this telecast is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the Atlanta National League Baseball Club and is intended solely for the entertainment of our audience. And any publication, rebroadcast, retransmission of the pictures or descriptions of this game without the express written consent of the Atlanta National League Baseball Club is prohibited.
And we go to the bottom half of the 2nd inning. Mark Carrion will lead it off. John Smoltz goes to work. Breaking ball popped up, foul territory. It will reach the seats behind the Giants dugout. 0-1. This is another place where they've built those new luxury box seats real close to the field, right beyond the dugout. You get a great view of the game, but boy, you better be alert, because that ball can get in there in a big hurry.
Bring your catcher's mask with you.
High fly ball, twisting foul, right side. Everybody chases it. Look out, Fred. It lands right behind those boxes.
And that was an out before they put those boxes in.
You can't run back behind those seats, can you? No, they got blocked off. That would be sort of neat.
Yeah. Get tired, just take a seat.
You go play right field, sir. The 0-2 to carry on.
John's last start was a beauty. 8 innings against the Padres. He was a winner 2-1. Gave up only 1 run in 8 innings and no walks with 10 strikeouts.
Pop foul back, out of play. There are a lot of panhandlers on the street here. I was walking with Paula and Josh today, and a guy had his hand out, and I said, "No thanks." And he just looked at me and said, "Jenny Craig's only a phone call away." Curveball popped up, foul territory. This one might be playable. Nope, back in the seats behind the Atlanta dugout.
Made a friend, huh?
I almost gave him some money, and I said, "No." A ball and 2 strikes.
One guy I met on the sidewalk says, "You going the right direction?" I said, "Yes." He says, "Are you sure?"
Very interesting city. Fastball away, 2-2. Carry-on has been a hot hitter. 27 of his last 70, a .386 average. He started but stopped. And he did, not much doubt about that. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
John Smoltz got on the team bus coming to the ballpark tonight and said, "I hope temperature gets down into the 20s and it blows 80 miles an hour. Be a great night to pitch. Tough on the hitters if that were the case."
Curveball, boy, he fought off a good pitch and had a good swing there. Still 3-2.
Carry-on's a tough out. When he gets to play and gets a few more at-bats, he becomes a better hitter, and you can see that has been the case of late, primarily because of the failures of J.R. Phillips, who was supposed to be their first baseman of the future.
Got him, high fastball. He may have chased ball 4. Carry-on out of there. Smoltz has struck out 3. They have been in succession. 1 out.
And he went upstairs to get this one. Carry-on's a good fastball hitter, but this one was too high for him to get on top of.
Glenn Allen Hill, the batter. He too has been hot. 29 out of 88 overall, 13 homers, 62 RBIs. This is sort of a breakthrough year for him. He's been a part-time player throughout most of his career.
They are 8 games in back of Colorado and still in it. They're just hoping they can get Matt Williams back.
Curve foul back.
But apparently Williams still sore after a rehab assignment in A-ball.
Yeah, he went to San Jose, hit a home run and played about 6 innings, and it was hurting again.
And apparently today they put it in a cast, completely immobilize it, and then they'll leave it like that for a few days, take the cast off, and see if that helps.
1-1. Right back where it came from. That'll be easy. Or it should be easy. John almost threw it in the dirt. 2 down.
Does this ball club remind you a little bit of what happened to the Padres a couple of years ago, where they had such a good ball club, a nucleus of a good team, that they then started making deals trying to, number one, cut payroll, but at the same time put some people in the seats? I mean, it started with Will Clark when they didn't re-sign him, and I don't know. I feel like that deal they made with the Reds was certainly one that did not help them personnel-wise. Maybe it will in the future with some of those guys they got from the minor leagues.
Royce Clayton hitting .244, 3 homers, 42 RBIs. Of course, there are conspiracy theories that the 49ers are in cahoots with the Giants. I don't know about all that. 1-1 the count.
It's kind of funny, though, that the team that made the loudest noise was also a team that may have had the same idea, and that was the Marlins and the Dolphins.
The 1-1 pitch. Line drive, base hit. A soft single to right by Royce Clayton. So he's aboard with 2 out. And Kirt Manwaring is the batter.
Right off the end of the bat, didn't even take a full swing at it. But it extends his hitting streak to a modest 5 games, and he's 8 for his last 18, trying to push his average up over 250. He has not had the best of years offensively, but he's on the comeback trail too.
Manwaring, 13 of his last 38, a 342 average, 263 overall. Snap throw to first. They got a shot, but he got back. Clayton started to go, then I guess felt he didn't have a good enough jump and was fortunate to get back. He has stolen 17 bases.
Well, if he's going to bluff again, he's going to make sure it's not such a good bluff, because Javy almost picked him off.
Manwaring stands back in there. Throw to first, runner back. Ten, 9, 8.
No, runner on base.
Oh,
take as much time as you want.
Why should there be any difference?
Because game conditions warrant you sometimes making strategic moves or
well, let me ask you this. Where do you have to concentrate the most? Nothing against Kirt Manwaring, but with him up and a runner at first and 2 out, or with Barry Bonds up leading off an inning?
Well, they're saying that there's no reason to have to mill around and kill time, or as in the case of holding runners on base, stopping to check runners, stepping off, that type of attitude. When you don't have anybody on, you ought to be able to just get the ball back, get your sign, and pitch.
Well, you might want to stop and think a little bit before each pitch to Barry Bonds is what I'm saying.
Well, you've got 12 seconds.
Think fast.
I asked Randy about what about a pitcher who wants to get the ball back, or wants a new baseball, wants to rub it off, wants to go off the mound, you know, lick his fingers and rub it up a little better. He said that'll all be taken into consideration. It's not a hard, steadfast rule. It's just that when the batter gets in the box, then we'll try to get him to throw the ball within 12 seconds.
1-2 the count. In other words, what baseball has done is really backed away from it, and I think they're very wise.
Yeah, it's not a hard line.
They haven't done anywhere near as much as they were talking about.
No, and I think it's a wise move to back off or table the discussions about rules changes too.
That's well hit into left center field. Hanging breaking ball. It's got a chance. It's off the top of the wall. A run is in. It's going to be called a home run. Manwaring is rounding third, and they say keep on walking. It hit above the yellow line, and it's 2-0. Well, the answer to my question is you better think about Manwaring. Just his 4th home run of the year.
He's had a good breaking ball the last couple of starts, and tonight he's already recorded a couple of strikeouts with his breaking ball, but it failed him here. A hanger right in the heart of the plate. John didn't even bother to turn around. Looked like this might have hit a fan's hand or glove. It did, and then came back onto the playing field.
Manwaring had been 1 for 19 against Smoltz before that. The pitch to Benjamin is outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Benjamin 0 for his last 28 for his last 63. A weak swing there. He was the guy that was so hot early. The right-hand hitter waits. Line drive left field. Klesko comes on. Plays it out. Didn't get a good jump. So 2-out trouble plagues Atlanta again. And Sergio Valdez will be the batter.
Couple off the end of the bat, and of course the long drive by Manwaring wasn't off the end of the bat.
Valdez 0 for 1 on the year. 2-0 Giants. Sergio Valdez against John Smoltz. 0-1. You sort of like your chances, but so far it hasn't worked out that way.
Well, even John Cummings last night with the Dodgers, his first 2 major league at bats, he was up there hacking away and put 1 in play.
Low and outside. 1-1 the count.
John's just got to cut the damage right here and end the inning, because if the Giants pitching holds true to form, they've been giving up a lot of runs.
2 balls and a strike. Yeah, we'll see how things go the second time through the order for Valdez. The Braves cannot lose any ground tonight, but they have a chance to pick some up. 3-1 to the pitcher. Deion Sanders 2 for 4 in his career against Smoltz. Waits to hit next. There's a strike on the corner. 3-2. Valdez was begging for a walk, which is not a bad idea when you're a pitcher who doesn't bat much.
Don't blame him.
Honesty compels me to report I do not remember that hit he got with the Braves. And he is history. That's 4 strikeouts for Smoltz, but again the Braves get hurt with 2 out, nobody on in an inning. 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, 1 left after 2. Giants lead it 2-0. We go to the 3rd inning. Javy Lopez leads it off for Atlanta. Braves trail 2-0. Valdez into the wind, and the pitch. Foul tip. That got Manwaring. 0-1 the count. Sergio is doing all right.
6-7 at AAA, though, a 4.37 ERA. Maybe the Braves can figure out something against him.
Ground ball to third. Benjamin has it and throws him out. 1 away. Still the ball has not yet left the infield. 1 down. Mark Lemke, the batter, he's been struggling. 0 for his last 13.
That's an ugly number when your ERA's over 5, especially in this ballpark. But if it's the worst in your franchise history, that would be even worse.
Lemke stands in with 1 out, nobody on. Another ground ball. 2 out. 1 strikeout and 7 grounders.
And one thing that he's doing that's certainly leading to a lot of ground ball outs is he's keeping the ball down. The only high pitch he made was the one that sailed over the head of Marquis Grissom in the 1st inning.
John Smoltz 1 for 32 on the year, an 0.31 average. Colorado beat Montreal. That's the final now, 8-3. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Boy, it was beautiful when we got here. Now it's all clouded up in San Francisco. Strike over the outside corner. 1-1.
You can see that one of the things that Valdez does on his deliveries is that he falls off toward the first base side, and his ball is tailing a little bit, doesn't finish right over the top.
2-1 the count. Marquis Grissom would be next. They're 2 out in the inning.
Might be a good guy to put a bunt down on down the 3rd baseline.
John trying to hit one right out of here. It's 2-2. The outfield plays him around toward right and quite shallow everywhere. Foul ball almost hit him. Full count, 3-2. Greg Maddux and Terry Mulholland tomorrow. We'll have that one for you at 4 o'clock Eastern time. The pitch. Foul ball gets him, inning over. Second strikeout for Sergio, who has been perfect through 3. We go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Giants 2, Braves nothing.
Good morning.
Wake up. Wake up.
Coffee?
Wake up and watch the movie. This is your TBS Sunday morning wake-up call.
Yeah. Morning, baby.
It's time to wake up.
We've got to go right now.
The clock is ticking.
All right, let me have your attention.
Paul Newman, William Holden, and Jacqueline Basset. In Irwin Allen's When Time Ran Out. Sunday morning movie, When Time Ran Out. Sunday at 10:35 Eastern. Wake up to TBS.
We go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Top of the order for the Giants. Dion, who popped to 3rd his first time, will lead it off. Dion plays to mixed reviews, but then he always does.
He says that, according to a quote from him in the paper today, that the part about his sports career thus far that's been the most troubling has been moving.
Strike, 0-1.
Hates packing up and having to go from one city to another, as he has done in baseball and football.
Well, he didn't have to do it. He didn't have to do any packing in football. That was his own idea, right? Ground ball to second. Lemke has it. Throws to first in time, 1 down.
But he has a noticeable limp when he's going down the line. He also said that he wouldn't have hurried himself back to rejoin the Reds, not being 100%, had he known that he was going to be dealt. You watch him run, definitely favoring that left leg.
And that would probably worry the football teams that are after him. Breaking ball strike to Thompson. That was up in the zone a little bit, 0-1. He is a tremendously gifted athlete, Deion Sanders. Chipper to first, 2 out.
Talking to Jeff Kellogg and Randy Marsh, as we mentioned before the ball game, about setting up for different hitters and location an umpire gets for a pitch. Sometimes catchers get in the way when they change the position. After they give the sign, they move over in front of the umpire if he's set up on the inside shoulder, and they can block their view. Lopez, a tall guy, he's hard to look over.
Bonds guessed wrong there. He was looking for a fastball, got a change, 0-1. Kirt Manwaring had been 1 for 19 against John Smoltz, but socked a 2-out, 2-run homer. That's the difference in the game to this point, 0-2. The crowd is not a large one. I guess it is by Giant standards, really. 20,000 or thereabouts.
They average 15.8.
High drive, 0-2 pitch. Back goes Justice. He's got room. Smoltz a little fortunate there. No hits, no runs, no errors, none left. We've played 3. It's 2-0 Giants. We're about to go to the 4th inning. Before we do, our Aflac trivia question for the night. When was the last time the Giants won the World Series? We'll have the answer for you in about a half inning. Marquis Grissom leads things off as he stands in. So does Joe Simpson.
Thanks, Skip. I believe this is where you started, wasn't it? Top of the order, 3 innings ago?
Yes, I did, and accomplished absolutely nothing.
1-0 to Marquis. He grounded a short his first time up. Sergio Valdez has not allowed a ball to be hit out of the infield. And that's in play for Manwaring. 1 out.
Well, we're making progress. At least we got one in the air.
Blauser grounded to third base his first time up. 10 in a row set down by Valdez. Giants have lost 7 out of 10, 20-20 here at home. Jeff's had it turned around a little bit of late. He's 5 for his last 14. That's inside for ball 1. He's got the turtleneck and everything going tonight. Long sleeves. 2-0. Everybody stepped off the plane here last night, though. It was rather refreshing, wasn't it?
Boy, it sure was.
With the heat down in California, and of course we know it's been hot in Atlanta. Hit hard, but again right at the third baseman. 2 down. The Braves have hit some balls on the nose, but right at people.
It was not too refreshing, however, to be unable to find the plane in Los Angeles last night.
No, that was rather difficult. Braves got to the airport at Los Angeles ready to go to San Francisco, and what was funny to me was the lead car, the pace car for the buses, peeled off into a hangar and disappeared. Left the buses out there to fend for themselves.
No plane here, see ya.
Yeah. Chipper Jones grounded to first his first time up. Carry-on made a nice play on him. Well, the Angels continue to play good baseball.
Boy, they're amazing. I mean, they're really good.
They're going to get better with Jim Abbott. That's toward the outfield and in the outfield, and it's caught. Chipper didn't run. Maybe he lost it. He wasn't sure where that ball even disappeared to, but they go in order again. 12 in a row for Valdez, and it's 2-0 Giants.
And now it's time for the answer to our Aflac trivia question, which was, when was the last time the Giants won the World Series? And if you said 1954, you're absolutely right.
Willie Mays making the great catch off of Vic Wirtz in the Polo Grounds. Carry on, Hill and Clayton for the Giants. They lead it 2-0. First pitch swinging. Carry on is out. A good start for Smoltz here in the 4th inning. Carry on 0 for 2, and Glenn Allen Hill will be the hitter. He bounced back to Smoltz his first time up. Hill with a career high in RBIs was 62. He has been a good addition. Good fastball, 0-1. Ball really carries well here to right field. If you hit it right down the line, it'll jump out of here. That's why Bond's fly ball to end the last inning was somewhat amazing. He must not have hit it very well at all. Must have jammed him a little bit.
Guess which team leads the league in runs scored? I looked it up tonight and I was surprised.
First the 0-2 pitch. Slow roller. Blauser charges. 2 down. Which team?
Houston Astros.
No kidding. Well, how about Jeff Bagwell? We're talking about MVPs. I mentioned Bonds on an MVP pace, and everybody had written off Bagwell at the beginning of the year when he was hitting $180. Remember when we saw him? He is now hitting .287, 16 homers, 66 RBIs.
30 of them this month, I believe.
Yes.
That's not too bad either.
And Derek Bell, 2nd or 3rd in the league in hitting. He's having a great year, leading the league in RBIs. Clayton got things started with a 2-out flare to right back in the 2nd inning. Manwaring followed with a homer to deep left.
Hope the folks in Houston will turn out to watch that good team that they have.
That's hit hard towards center. Grissom started in, now going back, gets turned around, but no problem. He's got it. The Giants go in order in the 4th. We head to the 5th. San Francisco 2, Atlanta 0. Sergio Valdez working on a perfect game as we go to the top of the 5th inning. He is retired 12 in a row. McGriff struck out his first time up. Palm ball misses inside. 1-0. McGriff, Justice, and Klesko here in the 5th. 2-0 Giants on a homer by Kirt Manwaring. Braves 5-0 against the Giants this year, but all 5 of those games were played in Atlanta. Off the end of the bat, easy play. 1 out. 13 in a row. In fact, dating back to last year, the Braves have beaten the Giants 10 straight.
I mean, nothing against Sergio Valdez, but this is a little embarrassing.
1 fly ball hit to the outfield. A shallow pop hit by Chipper Jones near the foul line. That's it. Valdez had appeared in 2 games for the Giants in relief. This is his first start. 4 2/3 innings, 5 hits allowed, but only 1 run. Off-speed pitch misses low. It's 2-0 to Justice.
You don't know how it's going to wind up, but I say again what I always say. Anybody who, to this point, a perfect example about why anybody who gambles on a sports event is nuts.
Yeah. Especially when Van Landingham was scratched.
Yeah, here's a guy who
wasn't even ready to pitch tonight.
13 years he's been up and down with several teams, always a higher end run average, and tonight he's absolutely brilliant.
3-0 to Justice. Let's see if David gets the green light here. Fastball hit hard, and again Carry-On gloves it. From the seat of his pants, throws him out. Valdez with the hook shot over to Thompson to start throwing it around the infield. Valdez feeling pretty good out there. He's got some great defense playing behind him right now.
Well, that's a great shot of the swing, and there's a great shot of the play by Carry-On.
Two outstanding plays by Carry-On.
You begin to wonder when you see those plays. Remember Bobo Holloman?
Yes, I do.
Pitcher just like
15 in a row.
Yeah, career just like Valdez.
Well, we've played 4.5. Braves have not had a base runner. Giants lead it 2-0.
Bottom of the 5th inning, you're looking at the man right there who has been picture perfect tonight, Sergio Valdez. The top line there tells the whole story. No runs, no hits, no errors for the Braves. The Giants, a 2-run homer from Manwaring in the second, 2-3-0 for the Giants. Speaking of Manwaring, here he is. Takes the first one outside. Don Sutton, Pete Van Wieren with you for the rest of this one. And Pete Valdez, the numbers just don't match up with what we're seeing.
No, they don't. He has never pitched a game anything like this in his major league career.
1-1 to count to the Giants catcher. I was looking up his major league average as a starting pitcher. The earned run average just a shade over a touchdown. Two balls and 1 strike. To right field. Justice, a late start. Then he'll make it look easy. Speaking of streaks, John Smoltz has now set down 8 in a row since a single by Benjamin back in the 2nd inning. And here is Benjamin.
He had been 0 for his last 20 prior to that base hit. So he's really had a couple of streaks. 14 hits in 3 games early in the year, and then 0 for 20 before the base hit coming into tonight's game.
Had 2 out of 6 in his career against John Smoltz. He takes ball 1 inside. A relatively mild evening thus far here at Candlestick Park. A strike, 1-1. They should have named this park Sybil because it can have some personalities. A Upstairs into the screen, 2-1. What was the story you were telling me about the tees here one night?
Yeah, we were working here. This was a long time ago, about 12, 13 years ago maybe, and Skip was opening up on television. I was opening up over on radio, and Skip had just recorded the tees, which is the thing you see at the very outset of the telecast.
In the air to left field. Should be an easy play for Klesko, but then again, there's no such thing as a routine fly here. 2 outs.
And when you see that at the beginning of the telecast, that is usually highlights of the previous night's game, something like that. That's a script that we're reading. And after Skip finished recording the tees, he flipped the script out the window. And about 8 booths away is the radio booth, and all of a sudden this yellow piece of paper blew in the radio booth, and there it was, Skip's tees.
Here's Valdez. First pitch swinging, fouls it away, and it's 0-1.
I returned it to him, and he had the look on his face like I've never seen before. Where did you get that? He said. I said, oh, it just blew in.
I think Valdez is going to get some new timber. Yeah, I've seen days here. I think I was telling you a little bit earlier, my favorite story here, right in front of the dugout. And maybe you folks will recall when the dugouts were ground level here. They have done a remarkable job of renovating the players' area here. There's a look at the dugout, making them larger, more comfortable, and safer, because there was no protection in those other dugouts, and they were tiny, too. 0-2 the count. But they were ground level, they were small, and sometimes you'd have guys standing out in front of the dugouts. Charlie Fox was the manager. He's gone. And so are the Giants. The story will wait. We'll finish that for you. Quiet inning for John Smoltz. Giants go quietly, 5 in the books, 2-0 San Francisco.
Saturday, turn to TBS for some rough riding and tough fighting. First, best friends who make even better enemies.
Just one, and I'll blow his head off.
Kirk Douglas and Anthony Quinn, last train from Gun Hill.
Well, what's next?
James Garner and Sidney Poitier are breaking horses and breaking hearts. Duel at Diablo. It all begins Saturday at 12:05 Eastern. Turn to TBS.
Before we go to the 6th inning, tonight's Budweiser game summary, a 2-run homer by Kirt Manwaring. Perfect 5 innings for Sergio Valdez, trying to stop a Braves 10-game winning streak against the Giants.
15 in a row set down by Valdez. Javy Lopez to lead it off. Lemke and Smoltz to follow. Foul away, 0-1. To continue the story, Charlie Fox was standing out in front of the Giants dugout, and normally if a ball goes up in the air and the wind is blowing here, that thing might start 30 rows in the stands and blow back out on the field. Well, on this pop fly, it headed to the stands. Charlie Fox looked up, waved off everybody. It came down, proceeded to hit him right on the button on top of his hat. 1-1 to count. And instead of bouncing to the side, glancing blows like you see, this goes about 10 feet right back up in the air.
I'll bet he was not very happy about that.
No. He went to his knees and was not very happy at all. Lined, fair foul. That's a fair ball. Over quickly is Bonds. What a good play. You hear a lot about his offense, but that's a good defensive play for Bonds. First hit of the night, and that could have been extra bases without a good play in the corner. Spell is broken. Lopez gets the single. First hit of the night for the Braves.
Just did stay fair. That ball had some hook to it, as you can see. Fair by only a couple of inches. And then it hits off that side wall. So Bonds coming over to the corner, more familiar with a carom like that than a lot of other visiting left fielders might be. He anticipated that side wall being hit before it got down to the corner, holding Lopez to a single.
Lemke up, takes strike 1. 15 in a row set down by Sergio Valdez. The single by Javy Lopez breaks up the no-hitter. Lemke represents a potential tying run. On the outside corner, and it's 0-2.
I'm sure you've known some pitchers like this, Don. Valdez just pressed into a starting assignment today. It was supposed to be Van Landingham's game, but his shoulder flared up on him again. There are some pitchers, if they know they're going to pitch 3 or 4 days in advance, they never seem to have a good game. If you hand them the ball as an emergency starter, all of a sudden they're going to turn in the best game of their lives.
Oh, yeah. Can't believe you said that. I was just thinking if you thought that was the case here. Because you really don't have some pitchers are better off. That's why some pitchers are good relievers. because all they need to do all they need is a jump start. A lot of guys need a week to prepare. Lemke stays alive.
We don't know how long Valdez will maintain his mastery over the Braves as he has tonight, but I'll bet you if you had told him 5 days ago that he'd be pitching this game, he would not be pitching as effectively as he is right now.
He would have probably spent 4 days studying scouting reports and 1 day figuring out how to foul it up. Tough question right now for Dick Pole and for Giants manager Dusty Baker. How long do you let him go? Another chance for Caray on. This one a kick foul. Has Caray on put on a clinic at first or what tonight?
Well, that question about how far do you let him go may be made a little easier when you look at that bullpen ERA of 5.20, especially the way they've pitched lately.
So if he's breathing, he's out there.
I think so.
1-2 to Mark Lemke. Giants shorten up at the infield. They're looking for the double play. And they may get it. To Thompson, to Clayton. And the throw a little wide at first. Good hustle by Lemke. They force Javy Lopez at second, 4-6. Lemke on a fielder's choice.
Looked like Robbie Thompson had just a little trouble. Yes, right there. Juggled the ball just briefly. And that fraction of a second that it took him to get the ball out of his glove and onto second prevented the double play from being turned.
Smart play by Caray on there, too, coming off the bag to make sure that throw didn't get past him, didn't try to stay on and get the out. Lemke's at first. Here's John Smoltz, struck out swinging. John now 1 out of 33. John's going to need some 5-hit nights to catch up with the rest of his pitchers. He's bunting this time. It's a beauty. Valdez doesn't even think. Second. Throws to Thompson at first. Sacrifice for Smoltz. 1-4. So the Braves have a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Remember, the Giants got all their damage after 2 were out. And Marquis Grissom will try to drive him along. Marquis has grounded to short and popped to the catcher. Marquis's heel still bothering him. He doesn't have as modified a shoe as he had before, but he's not 100%. He's telling me pretty much have 2 choices. First pitch outside 1-0 is you sit in the clubhouse and don't play and it hurts, or you play and it hurts. He said it probably wasn't going to be 100% till he had a chance to prop it up over the winner. He's a gamer. Down low, 2-0. I want to wish a happy birthday to one of my favorite people in the whole world down in Pensacola, Florida, Jay Wyndham. Celebrates a birthday about this time every year. Happy birthday. There's ball 3 outside. Grissom represents a potential tying run if the Braves can get him on. Jeff Blauser wants to hit. He's waiting on deck. There's a strike, and it's 3-1. On the ground, Clayton with a long throw and a good throw. And the Giants get Marquis Grissom. The spell is broken. The Braves get their first hit, but come up empty here in the 6th inning. We move to the bottom of the 6th. It's still Giants 2. Braves yet to score.
Operation Dumbo Drop is 5 tons of Disney fun and the summer's best family film. Critics agree that Disney magic strikes again. Operation Dumbo Drop is hilarious. And pound for pound, the biggest movie of the summer. Disney's Operation Dumbo Drop. Rated PG. Now playing at a theater near you.
Bottom of the 6th inning. Braves trail at 2-0 as the Giants come to bat. Sanders, Thompson, and Bonds first 3 due up. Sanders 0 for 2 tonight. Popped to third in foul territory, grounded weakly to second. 4 out of 20 since putting on a Giants uniform. His average at .235 for the year. Shows bunt, takes strike one. I don't know what's coming up after our ball game, but I'll tell you one thing. The Braves hope it is not a movie from the TBS archives called Valdez is Coming. Another ground ball chance for Lemke. Up throwing. And Sanders is 0 for 3. 1 out here in the 6th. That'll bring up Robbie Thompson. Struck out looking and grounded to third.
Moby Dick might not be a good choice either. They call me Ishmael.
Oh, gee.
Having trouble with pitchers named Valdez this week.
First pitch strike to Robbie Thompson. Thompson 12 out of 50 against John Smoltz. He has a couple of homers. On the corner, perfect pitch. 0-2. Speaking of pitchers, I'm sure Skip and Joe probably told you, but worth reminding, the pitching rotation has been juggled for the rest of this. They'll get back out in the stands, and it's 0-2. Mulholland will oppose Greg Maddux tomorrow. All of this fallout from the fact that William Van Landingham couldn't go to the post tonight, sore shoulder. So it's Terry Mulholland against Greg Maddux, and then Tom Glavine against Jamie Brewington. Brewington will be set back to Sunday. Inside, and it's 1-2. Maddux looking for win number 11. Glavine will be looking for win number 10. We'll have them both for you. 4:05 Eastern Daylight Time right here on TBS. Did he go? They're going to ask. Never mind, he's not going to ask. He's out of there. That's strikeout number 6 for John Smoltz. Twice he's gotten Robbie Thompson. 2 gone in the 6th inning.
Tried to stop a swing and a pitch that was outside. But Jeff Kellogg didn't even need the appeal down to Randy Marsh for this one. He called it himself.
Javy Lopez, just in case, was asking for the call. Here's Barry Bonds, struck out looking and flied to right. Breaking ball catches the outside corner, 0-1. Last time up, John Smoltz and Javy Lopez almost outthought themselves. 2 fastballs away from Bonds, right on by him. Tried to sneak one inside, and Bonds just missed putting it in the seats. Doesn't get the changeup, and again, Smoltz ahead 0-2. Found my favorite minor league hat, Pete. There are some great logos and insignias out now. Tell you about it in a minute. Outside 1-2. Lansing Lugnuts. Black and red. Gotta get some of those hats. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Bonds. On the ground, Lemke's there. I'm sorry, Blauser's there. They have the shift on. It goes as 6-3 in your scorebook, but it's made from the second base spot. Another 1-2-3 inning for Smoltz. He has now set down 13 in a row. 6 in the books. It's still 2-0 Giants. To the 7th, 2-0 the score. Giants lead at 2 runs on 3 hits. Sergio Valdez working on a 1-hitter. As we go to the 7th, let's go to Pete Van Wieren for the play-by-play.
Okay, thank you, Don. Jeff Blauser, who's grounded out to third twice, leads it off against Sergio Valdez. It was allowed just the 1 hit, a single by Javy Lopez. Low and away, ball 1. Braves have only scored 10 runs on this entire road trip. They're really fortunate to be 2-2 and only down 2-0 here. The bats have really been quiet. Forkball is low, and the count 2-0 on Blauser.
Looks like what the Braves are doing a little bit more in the last couple of innings, forcing him to get the ball up a little bit. First 5 innings, nothing above the belt, everything down about knee-high for strikes.
Count goes to 3-0 now on Blauser. Valdez has not walked anyone.
Got to be thinking right now, though, Pete, he may be getting just a little tired.
on the outside corner, 3-1. I would think that if he had been pitching relief in Phoenix, but he had been starting in Phoenix, hasn't been up here that long, and hasn't thrown that many pitches. Only 71 pitches. There's a line drive, base hit right field by Blauser, and a good start to the top half of the 7th inning for Atlanta. Only the second hit allowed by Sergio Valdez. And it'll bring up Chipper Jones, who has grounded out to first and fly to left.
Jeff Blauser doing what we've seen him do a lot in the recent couple of weeks. That is taking everything that's up in the strike zone and trying to hit it to right field.
It looks like he's starting to feel a lot more comfortable at the plate.
I read an interesting statement made by Blauser today. I'll tell you what it was right after this pitch, which won't be made. Jeff said he is a mechanical type hitter, not a reaction type hitter.
Bouncing ball second. Robbie Thompson to Clayton for one on the first. Double play. 4-6-3. Another ground ball. This time accounting for 2 outs. And with the bases empty, it'll bring up Fred McGriff.
You may be watching maybe the 2 best double play combinations in the National League right here with Thompson and Clayton. Perfect feed. Clayton with a good arm. Gets the ball out of the way quickly. Blauser down. Clayton over the top of him. The other one, Blauser and Lemke, 2 of the best. What Blauser was saying, though, is there are reaction hitters who just say, see the ball, hit the ball. But he says, I have to stance and my hands. And he says, maybe I've been thinking too much about a hitting plan and about technique. And maybe I'll just start responding a little more.
McGriff has struck out and bounced back to the pitcher. And he falls behind in the count 0-1. 2-0. Giants lead it. They only have 3 hits, but the Braves only have 2. One ball, 1 strike. Count goes to 2-1. We're in the top half of inning 7. Deep to right field. That takes care of the shutout. Into the right field seats. Home run number 15 of the year for Fred McGriff. And it's now a 2-1 ball game. $15 homers and 55 RBIs for Fred McGriff, and there was no doubt about that one.
The double pitch to Chipper Jones, awfully big right now, because it would have been a tie ball game at least, and maybe a 3-2 ball game. 3rd hit of the day for the Braves. Tries to run it out away from him. Fred gets full extension. That would have been out of any yard in America. McGriff hits him awfully long when he gets those long arms extended.
That'll bring up David Justice, who has grounded out twice. A couple of nice plays, one by Clayton and a great play by Carrion, robbed him of a base hit last time up. So the Braves are on the board, trailing by 1 now after the Fred McGriff homer. 3rd hit allowed by Sergio Valdez. And the pitch on the way to Justice, a little low, ball 1. This is the 84th game for Atlanta. Fred McGriff halfway to 30 home runs now. But remember, it's a shorter season. Only 60 games remain after this one. He'd have to hit 1 home run every 4 games the rest of the way to have another 30 home run year for an 8th consecutive season. Here's the 2-0. Ground ball to the right side. Robbie Thompson boots it, picks it up, throws on to first. Didn't get him. A rare error committed by Robbie Thompson. That's only the 2nd error he has committed all year on really a fairly routine play.
Let's see if we can see if he looked up. That ball took a little bit of an overspin hop. Credit David Justice with not just giving up on that. You see a lot of guys who'll say there's a ground ball, it's an out, but Justice hustled the whole way. It was still close, but if he lollygags it at all, he's still out.
So the inning continues for Atlanta. Runner at first with 2 outs for Klesko. Twice has grounded out to first. Outside, ball 1 to Ryan.
Other than the 2 games in Los Angeles, for the last 3 weeks, the Braves from the 7th inning on have not missed capitalizing on a mistake made by the opposition.
Pitch on the way to Klesko, popped it foul, back out of play, and the count even on Ryan Klesko. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Whether it was an error or a wild pitch, a hit batsman, or maybe walking the pitcher.
Oh, the Braves all season long really have been a very opportunistic team. You give them one little opening. Even though they haven't hit well as a team overall, they have been able to produce in the clutch. 2-1 now on Klesko. Here's the 2-1. Broken bat right back to the pitcher. Good play by Valdez. He'll underhand it to first. And he's out of the inning with no further damage. So the only run scored, a solo homer by Fred McGriff. 2-1 Giants after 6.5.
Two more games on the road trip here at Candlestick Park. We'll have them both for you. 4:05, 4 o'clock we will join you. 4:05 first pitch. Tomorrow's matchup, Terry Mulholland has moved up a day for the Giants. He'll be going against the professor. No offense, Pete. The best pitcher in baseball, Greg Maddux. That's a matchup tomorrow. And we'll have Sunday, too, for you right here on TBS.
Bottom of the 7th, here's Mark Carrion taking a strike in the outside corner. Carrion tonight has struck out and grounded out to short. 13 straight retired by Smoltz, keeping the Braves in the game, although they trail 2-1. He couldn't stop his swing. It must be a very effective breaking ball that Smoltz has working tonight. To see a lot of hitters unable to stop that swing when they realize the pitch is going to be out of the strike zone.
Well, it's a late breaking slider, and it doesn't have your typical flat slider break. It's almost like a curveball. It's just short, down, and away.
Upstairs, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the 1-2, low and outside, 2-2. You mentioned Greg Maddux pitching tomorrow afternoon for Atlanta. Roger Clemens got scratched today by the Boston Red Sox. More arm problems. Brother Mike Maddux, an emergency starter, and he got the win over Texas. We'll have all the scores for you in our Delta scoreboard in the next half inning. 3-2 now on Mark Carrion. Back into the seat, still 3-2. In the air to center field. Long run for Marquis Grissom, but he gets there again. And that's out number 1 in the bottom half of the 7th inning.
Pete, I got a nice letter today I want to share with you from Carol and Frank Vela, who live in the Republic of the Marshall Islands, 2,500 miles southwest of Hawaii. Frank said his dad used to take him to watch the Atlanta Crackers in old Ponce de Leon Park. Bob Montag played there. Pitcher, he says, was named 3 Rings Valentine. They're still Braves fans. They want to send along their regards to their best wishes to the Braves and a hello to Ernie Johnson. They listen all the way down on the Marshall Islands.
Bouncing ball by Glenn Allen Hill. Nice play, Blauser on the first in time. And that's 15 straight retired now by Smoltz. That's amazing where this signal goes. During the Gulf War, a neighbor of mine stationed there, and I can't remember the name of the little island that he was on, catching Braves baseball during their free time. 2 gone. And here's Royce Clayton, who has singled and fly to center. Out of play to the right, 0-1.
I know we get a lot of nice letters from the folks in Hawaii, which is ideal because they get us early in the afternoon.
Here's the 0-1. 0-2 on Royce Clayton. John Smoltz very effective tonight, except for that one little blip in the 2nd inning. A base hit by Clayton, a 2-run homer by Manwaring, and a single by Benjamin. Outside of those 3, everybody else has been retired. Here's the 0-2. 1-2.
You can take it even further. I think in that whole inning there was only one pitch he'd like to have back. That was the one to Manwaring.
2-2 now on Royce Clayton.
Talking about the places we go, there's the island of Lanai in Hawaii only has one bar in the whole island where you can watch a television, and it's always set on TBS at the Experience at Coeli.
Here's the 2-2. Another bouncing ball right at Blauser again. On the first in time, another 1-2-3 inning for John Smoltz at the end of 7 now. It's still 2-1 San Francisco. Two to 1 Giants as we go to the 8th inning, and Javy Lopez will lead off here. He's grounded out to third and singled.
We're going to get through the Delta scoreboard in this inning for you, Pete. It's coming up. And a little bit of a new look. We'd be interested in seeing what you folks think about our scoreboard.
Ground ball to short. Clayton, another nice play. One pitch, one out.
In the National League, a nifty little 11-hit shutout for the Chicago Cubs as they beat the Phillies. Shutout for Florida. Hammond, Bears, and Nen did that one. Colorado 8-3 over Montreal. Pittsburgh 10-9. A nail biter there. And they're in the 6th inning. They're in the 7th inning now. Cincinnati has tied that one. 2-2 the score. Houston at San Diego. That completes our National League. 2-1 that score there. We'll give you the American League as time permits.
Here's Mark Lemke 0 for 2. He's grounded out to short, hit into a 4-6 force play. 0 for his last 15 now. He could use a base hit. Dwight Smith has moved to the on-deck circle. So the Braves trying to get something going against Sergio Valdez here in the top half of the 8th inning, trailing 2-1. Another little bouncing ball. Valdez can't get to it, but Robbie Thompson does. Close play at first, but it's in time. 2 gone.
Here's what taking place in the American League. Leiter and Castillo combined for a shutout for Toronto. Baltimore by 1 over Chicago. New York and Minnesota are now a final. California at Milwaukee, that's 13-6. California scores a ton of runs. Detroit at Kansas City, there's a New York, Minnesota. It is a final 5-3. Kansas City by 1 over Detroit. Pete told you about Maddox being pushed into action there. He gets the win, and the only other game, Cleveland at Seattle. Cleveland in a slump, only 2 runs after 4.
Here's Dwight Smith pinch hitting for John Smoltz, hitting .280 for the year. Coming up empty on the first one, 0-1. As a pinch hitter, he's 11 for 43. 2 pinch hit home runs for Dwight Smith this year. Brad Clontz will be the next Atlanta pitcher. Sean Barton and Scott Service, a lefty and a righty, up now in the Giants bullpen. But Sergio Valdez has certainly given Dusty Baker more than he could have expected. Coming out of the bullpen and giving him this kind of a start. 3-hitter into the 8th inning with 2 outs. 1-2.
If you had told Dusty Baker and Dick Pohl, we're going to run Sergio Valdez out there, he is going to shut out the Braves for 5 innings, they would have grabbed that and run to the bank with it.
Now the 1-2 pitch on the way to Dwight Smith. Fly ball hit out to left field. Bonds, a long run for it, but he gets there. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Valdez. He has worked 8 solid innings and still leads it 2-1. See through these. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. We have a new pitcher for Atlanta, right-hander Brad Clontz taking over for John Smoltz. He makes his 32nd appearance. You see the numbers on him. A good outing for Smoltz. 7 innings, 3 hits, 2 runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. But right now trailing 2-1. And here's Kirt Manwaring, who's been the offensive hero for the Giants tonight. He takes a strike in the outside corner. After 2 men were out in the 2nd inning, Royce Clayton delivered a base hit to right field, and Kirt Manwaring came up with 2 outs and a runner at first. Little bouncing ball hit out toward short. Blauser charging, throws on to first in time. And Manwaring delivered that 2-run homer. That's the difference in the game right now.
That's kind of interesting to see how Brad Clontz was going to pitch with nobody on base. He has become a bases loaded, no out specialist, hasn't he?
Twice getting out of that situation in the last 2 weeks. Here is Mike Benjamin.
You can see his confidence grow every day, too, Pete. And I think that bases loaded, no out situation, the first one that he got out of, could have been the best thing that could have happened to Brad Clontz since he's been up here this year.
We were talking to him the other day about where the sidearm delivery came from. And he really was not taught it by anybody. Said when he was in high school, maybe his second year as a high school pitcher, whenever he got ahead, he was an overhand pitcher, but whenever he got ahead of a hitter, 0-2, he would occasionally drop down because high school hitters never see sidearmers, and he had a lot of success with it. Here's the 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss, 2-1. Then when he got to college, they told him they were going to use him as a relief pitcher, and he figured in that situation that sidearm delivery again would be something that the hitters hadn't seen the entire game. So it kind of evolved on its own. There was no instruction. There was nobody that taught him that style. His heroes were not Dan Quisenberry or Gene Garber. His hero was Nolan Ryan.
And if you watch a true sidearmer like him, most people think the head stays upright and the arm drops down. The angle between his head and his delivery is identical to that of John Smoltz's.
3-2, the count now on Mike Benjamin.
Normally the arm goes out to a 90-degree angle and makes a 90-degree angle with the head and the shoulder. If you watch Clontz, his head goes down to the side, the arm goes down, so he keeps that 90-degree angle that an overhand pitcher does.
That's all for Benjamin. 2 down. And now we're going to get a pinch hitter. Jeff Reed will bat for Sergio Valdez. So the Giants are going to entrust things in the 9th inning to Rod Beck, who has been an outstanding closer in his major league career, but not lately. He has been giving up a lot of runs of late. His ERA, which when he was in Atlanta was down around 3, sky to over 5. He's got it back under that at 4.82, but he's been hit pretty hard lately. They're trying to get him back in the groove. And here's Reed.
He's also one of the centerpieces of one of the worst rumors I've heard lately.
I couldn't believe that. San Jose Mercury News today. Wait till John Sherholz hears this. He's probably watching at home.
John, you're making another deal.
John, sit down for this one. San Jose Mercury News today had a speculative deal that the Braves and Giants were about to pull off, where Rod Beck would be acquired in exchange for Ryan Klesko.
I don't think so.
I don't think that's going to happen. Here's the 1-1. That's low, 2-1.
Great outing. It's been a long time since he will have enjoyed a win if, in effect, the Giants can hold on.
Due up in the 9th inning, by the way, for Atlanta will be the top of the order. So they'll have Grissom, Blauser, and Chipper Jones if anyone reaches Fred McGriff against Rod Beck. Remember what happened last time Rod Beck pitched against Atlanta in a situation like that. Braves rallied in the 9th to win 3-2 at home on a Fred McGriff home run. That was the day before the All-Star break. Meanwhile, the count goes to 3-1 on Jeff Reed. Reed hitting .263. He's driven in 7 runs. Here's the 3-1. Bouncing ball over the glove of Clontz. Blauser gets a glove on it, but can't come up with it. It'll be a base hit for Reed.
Jeff was playing him a hit the other way. Almost got to this one. You can see he just ticked it off the end of his glove. That was a base hit all the way.
2 men out. Reed at first. Deion Sanders will be the batter. He's been kept off base tonight. 0 for 3. He's fouled out to third and twice grounded out to second.
4 out of 21 since Sanders put on a Giants uniform.
Giants leading it 2-1 in the bottom of the 8th. The base hit by Reed, only the 4th hit for San Francisco. There have only been 7 hits in this game.
You get a guy like this up there, though, Pete. He loves the spotlight. He loves the one-on-one situation. These are the situations he could be 0 for 12 and still be dangerous.
Not this time. Popped up to the right side of the infield. Mark Lemke making the call and the catch. And that's it for the Giants in the 8th inning. We go to the 9th inning. Due up for Atlanta, Grissom, Blauser, and Chipper Jones. They'll face Rod Beck.
You
want them? TBS has them. Movies for guys who like movies. One big, bad, in-your-face movie every Sunday night. Sunday.
I know how serious this is.
The judgment.
It's either the law or it's not the law.
The sentence.
I have no choice. Time to get your fingernails dirty, kiddo.
Michael Douglas, The Star Chamber. You want them? We got them. Movies for guys who like movies. 7 Eastern Sunday night. Only on TBS.
2-1 Giants. We're going to the 9th inning, and Rod Beck takes over for Sergio Valdez. He's been the premier closer for the Giants for the last few years. 16 saves this year, but look at where that ERA is ballooned to. And it's all because of his July outings, which really began with that game just before the All-Star break when he gave up 3 runs in the 9th inning in Atlanta, losing it on a Fred McGriff home run. The entire Giants bullpen for the month of July has pitched 77 innings and given up 70 runs. So it hasn't been just Beck. 1-0 pitch to Grissom, low, 2-0. Sergio Valdez, an unexpectedly terrific performance. 8 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Had a no-hitter until the 6th inning. The 2-0 pitch is low. It's 3-0. We were talking about Beck in Atlanta when he pitched that game the Sunday before the All-Star break. It seems like he either has a 1-2-3 inning against you or gets into trouble and then has trouble getting out of it. Here's the 3-0 pitch, and there's a strike. No, it's not. It's outside. Ball 4.
And when you throw 3 nowhere near the strike zone, you are not going to get that call. It's going to have to be right down the middle. Grissom shrinks the strike zone. That's a good move by Marquis. If he's standing up there normally like a hitter, he might have gotten that call.
So there's a potential tying run aboard for Atlanta. Nobody out. Jeff Blauser, the batter, he singled his last time up. 1 for 3 on the night.
Beck trying to become the reincarnation of Don Stanhouse.
Outside corner for a called strike.
Blauser is one of the few guys in the lineup, Pete, after having drawn a walk, like after seeing a guy have trouble throwing strikes, that would try to do the same thing, shrink the strike zone and force him to throw a strike.
In his last 7 games, Rod Beck has pitched 5 innings and given up 13 runs. 11 of them earned. When he came into that game on July 9th in Atlanta, his record was 4-2, his ERA 2.59, so his ERA has jumped a full 2 runs in the last 3 weeks. The 0-1 with a runner going, taken for a strike, no throw. Grissom has it stolen. As the count goes to 0-2 on Blauser.
And when you're a guy who has trouble throwing strikes, you really don't have the energy to effort to concentrate as much as you should on that runner. Grissom was totally ignored. He had a running jump on that. They couldn't have thrown him out if it had been a pitch out.
Stolen base number 16 of the season for Grissom. Now the 0-2 pitch to Blauser. A little bit low. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jeff will try to make sure he hits the ball to the right side to at least get Grissom over to third here.
And he'll do it with 2 strikes, too.
Bouncing ball hit up the middle. That'll get the runner to third. Clayton makes the play. 1 gone, a runner third in a 1-run game. And the batter will be Chipper Jones.
See how the Giants play this. A lot of ball clubs would bring the infield in here. It looks like that's what they're going to do. Chipper Jones is a pull hitter who wears out that hole. He's been robbed tonight already once, but how many times have you seen him hit ground balls through the hole right side? The angle cut down so much he's got a lot more room to work with over there.
The pitch on the way to Chipper, and Beck ahead in the count, 0-1. Tonight he has grounded out to first, flied to left, and hit into a 4-6-3 double play. Now the 0-1. That missed inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. 16 saves for Beck this year. He has blown 7 save opportunities. Here's the 1-1 1-1. Ground ball, right side, base hit into score. Marquis Grissom. And Rod Beck has blown his 8th save opportunity. We're tied 2-2. RBI number 50 of the year for Chipper Jones.
Anytime you bring the infield in, obviously if it's hit right at the guy, you're not going to get him, but you cut down the angle, you increase the area. Chipper Jones does what he's done so much this year. Drives another one through the hole.
Here's Fred McGriff, who homered back in the 7th off Valdez. The only run Sergio Valdez allowed. He takes the first one high, ball 1. He hit the game-winning homer off Beck in Atlanta back on July 9th. It's a no-decision night for Sergio Valdez, but it won't be forgotten by Dusty Baker and Dick Pohl.
No, and that's when I think you have to remind a starting pitcher what his job is. His job is not to win ball games.
Here's the 1-0.
That's a bonus if it happens. A starting pitcher's job is to get hitters out. And I think more and more we should start reminding hitters, or start reminding pitchers and rewarding them for doing that and focusing less on one-loss record. Nobody could have done the job any better than Valdez did tonight.
It's 2-0 now on McGriff in a 2-2 game. Braves trying to score their 17th victory of the season in their final at bat. Count goes to 2-1. One man out, Jones at first. That looked like a throw to first base out of pure frustration. Chipper Jones didn't have that big a lead. Here's the 2-1 now to McGriff. Fly ball, deep right field. Back to the wall goes Glenn Allen Hill, and just shy of the wall. He's got it. Chipper Jones tagging, trying for second. Here's the throw. He's in there safely. And Fred McGriff just missed another one off Rod Beck. And some good heads-up base running by Chipper Jones, getting into scoring position with 2 outs for David Justice.
Well, he's only going to score if that's a homer. He's not going to score if it's off the wall. McGriff, you saw the late movement on the fastball. He caught that about an inch or 2 from the end. If that ball is an inch closer to the center of the bat, it's in the second deck. And you're right, that was some heads-up play by Chipper Jones.
Jones at second, 2 outs. Game tied at 2. Here's Justice, 0 for 3. He has grounded out to short, grounded out sharply to first. Nice play by Caray, took a base hit away from him. Then he reached on the error by Robbie Thompson back in the 7th. Beck delivers. Strike in the outside corner, 0-1. Here's the 0-1 delivery, and it's low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the 1-1, bouncing ball foul down the right side. It's a ball and 2 strikes now on Justice. Now the 1-2 offering. Fly ball foul the other way. It remains a ball and 2 strikes. Well, John Smoltz off the hook. Brad Clontz, the pitcher of record right now for Atlanta.
Has he picked up the Vulture nickname yet?
Not yet. Ground ball, right side, gets through into right field. Base hit. Chipper Jones around third, heads home. He scores. Braves lead it 3-2. And the Giants bullpen has let Dusty Baker down one more time. RBI number 45 for Justice. It's 3-2 Atlanta.
A seeing eye hit for David Justice, a clutch one, but boy, credit Chipper Jones with this one. I don't think you see too many rookies with the presence of mind to see where that ball was, to go back and to get to second, to get into a position where he could score on a single right there.
Now Ryan Klesko 0 for 3 with Justice at first. Klesko comes up empty 0-1. Mark Wohlers up in the Atlanta bullpen. Due up for the Giants in the bottom of the ninth, Robbie Thompson, Barry Bonds, Mark Carrion. Another incredible ninth inning finish for Atlanta. They weren't watching Justice. He waltzes into second base, standing.
Take advantage of the frustration. That's exactly what they're doing right there. He is totally asleep. Look at this. Oh my, he was off and running and he hadn't even taken a stride. That's the biggest jump I have ever seen a guy get without at least drawing some sort of attention.
1 ball, 1 strike.
They're going to walk him though, Pete. Now see, that's the flip side of that coin. You like to get into scoring position, but in effect, because he did that, he just took the bat right out of the hands of Ryan Klesko.
So Klesko down to first, runners first and second, 2 outs, 2 runs in here in the ninth inning. Braves trying to come up with their 17th victory in their final at bat in a game. Dusty Baker heading out to the mound. And this is going to be the end of the night for Rod Beck, who is going through the most frustrating time of his major league career. The new pitcher for the Giants, right-hander Scott Service, one of those that came over from Cincinnati in that multiplayer deal. This will be his 4th game. He's 0-1. And you see the numbers on him. Rod Beck, 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 2 walks, 1 intentional, 2 runs. The runners at first and second belong to him, and it's just been one of those stretches for Rod Beck, and that seems to be how it goes for relief pitchers. That's very much a confidence game if you're a relief pitcher. If you're pitching with confidence, you get everybody out.
That's exactly right. And you walk out there, what a relief pitcher has to do, he can't issue free tickets. You can't come out there, pitch tentatively. Remember Beck when he was going well? I mean, he was the bulldog. He had the mean look. He had the ugly, aggressive look, and he would come right at you and throw 1 strike right after the other. But now you can see a more tentative approach to pitching from Beck, and he can't afford to pitch that way.
So now it's Scott Service facing Javy Lopez. First and second, 2 runs in. Braves leading at 3-2. Lopez 1 for 3. Had a single in the 6th inning to break up the Sergio Valdez no-hitter. And perfect game to that point. He takes a strike from Service on 1. Nothing in 2, the count now on Lopez.
Here's a guy relatively young. Big guy, 6'6", 225, but he has logged a few miles with a few organizations. Started out originally with the Phillies, but he's already been to Japan and played in Montreal. A multi-continent right-hander.
Here comes the 0-2. Fly ball, deep left field. Back goes Bonds. This ball is gone. 3-run homer for Javy Lopez. And the Braves now lead it 6-2. Unbelievable the way this team can get off the deck late. Home run number 9 of the year for Lopez. He's now driven in 33 runs.
Reputation that Lopez had early was he was a high ball hitter. Watch this pitch. That's below belt high. A slider just hung there and spun for him. If you're an outfielder like Bonds and one like Sanders, you recognize the flight of that ball that this bullpen has done. What a frustrating night for that man right there.
Mark Lemke pops one up left side of the infield. Royce Clayton is under it. He's got it. And that is finally out number 3 here in the top half of the 9th inning. But the Braves hit the Giants with a 5 spot in the 9th. It is 6-2 Atlanta. Six to 2 Atlanta as we go to the bottom half of the 9th inning. A 5-run top half of the 9th. And as we go to the bottom of the 9th, Mike Kelly takes over in left field. And the new pitcher will be Mark Wohlers. Is no longer a save situation because the Braves have built up a 4-run lead. And we don't want to keep harping on a player who's having his troubles like Rod Beck is, but the numbers are absolutely incredible for a guy who's been such a good relief pitcher over the years. In his last 8 games now for the Giants, Rod Beck has pitched 5 2/3 innings and given up 17 runs.
Flip side of that coin, speaking of incredible numbers, look at those of Mark Wohlers.
Here's Kirt Manwaring fouling back the first one. A correction, Robbie Thompson fouling back the first one.
36 innings, Pete. Look at his strikeout total, and equally impressive for Mark Wohlers. Only 2 home runs allowed, only 17 walks. You can build a case for his having gotten better when he started throwing strikes and pitching ahead in the count.
We've been talking a lot lately about the Braves' ability to score runs in their final at bat to win ball games. This is almost impossible. If the Braves hold on here, it'll be the 6th time in the last 9 days that they've done it. Count goes to 2-1 on Robbie Thompson. Back on July 20th, Mark Lemke's 9th inning single beat the Pirates 4-3. July 22nd, Javy Lopez's 8th inning RBI single. Braves held on to beat San Diego 3-2. July 23rd, sac fly by Jeff Blauser, bottom of the 8th inning. Braves held on to beat San Diego 2-1. 2-2 now on Thompson. July 24th, solo home run by Ryan Klesko, top of the 9th at Pittsburgh, beginning of this road trip. Braves win 3-2. The next night, 2-run single by Dwight Smith in the 10th inning. Braves win at 3-1. 6 times in 9 days. The Braves have scored what appear to be winning runs in their final at bat. Strike 3 call. Thompson gone. 1 out.
Perfect pitch, knee-high. Thompson's not going to like the call, but when you're throwing strikes like Wohlers, last year and at the beginning of the year, he would not have gotten these calls because of his reputation. That is right there, and it's a perfect pitch. Pete, you were talking about those finishes. You know what happens when you do that? You begin to get the confidence and you can relax, where if you get behind a little bit early, you don't sweat it. I mean, you think, okay, let's don't panic. Let's don't start trying to do something stupid, because I think you know, and maybe a part of it reflects that low-key personality right there. But what you do is you start thinking, all we have to do is stay close, because I know we're going to score late in the ball game.
Barry Bonds 0 for 3 tonight. He takes the first one a little high, ball 1.
And that relaxes everybody, the pitchers, the hitters, the defense.
6-2 Atlanta in a game that the Braves didn't even get their first hit until the 6th inning. And the other side of that coin, when you're scoring all those runs late, somebody out in that bullpen is usually going to be the beneficiary of it. And Brad Clontz is the guy. If Wohlers can hold him here, Clontz will pick up his 7th win. And that would be 4 victories since July 20th. All those late inning victories.
But those are not gifts. Those are things that you earn. There is a responsibility. We've said it before, and I really believe it. When you go to the mound, you never know, regardless of what the score is, the run that you save, how important it might be, and it may be the difference in the ballgame. Clontz has been spectacular, too.
Here comes the 2-1 pitch now to Barry Bonds. Pop foul back out of play. In fact, Brad Clontz did not pick up his first Major League win until June 28th, 1 month ago. 7 wins out of the bullpen in 1 month, unheard of. But it could happen with 2 more outs.
Since 1966, when Phil Regan had a fistful of them.
Elroy faced with the Pirates back in the 60s. Yeah, back in the 60s. He was 18-1, Elroy faced one year with Pittsburgh. Back out of play, still 2-2.
And I think Phil Regan was 14-1 in '66. Saw 7 or 8 of those up close and personal.
2-2 on Barry Bonds. 6 runs, 6 hits for Atlanta. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Giants. Bottom of the 9th. Phillies lost today. Montreal lost today. Could be a very profitable evening for Atlanta. Here's the 2-2. Upstairs, full count.
That fastball is so good, Mark. Put it on the outer half of the plate. Let's see how far he can hit it. I don't believe he can catch up to a strike.
Strikeout number 2 for Mark Wohlers. 2 men gone in the bottom half of the 9th inning. The last hope for the Giants is Mark Carry-On.
Old-time ball players and old-timers generally had a term for this. It's called he can flat bring it. That is right down the middle. You know what's coming. It's in the heart of the strike zone, and you can't catch up to it. You know that he has some real giddy-up on his fastball.
Tonight's crowd, 21,090. A lot of them heading up the aisles right now. Fouled away. Braves trying to set a club record with their 19th win in the month of July. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tonight would be the 10th win in the month of July in their final at bat. Here's the 0-1. Fouled away. It's 0-2.
57 strikeouts now for Mark Wohlers. Only 25 hits. I don't know too many people that ring up 2-to-1 strikeouts to hits.
That's pretty good. Oh, 0-2 on Mark Carry-On. The 0-2 delivery. Taken high, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2. Little check swing roller foul down the third base side. It remains a ball and 2 strikes. Now again, the 1-2 on the way to Carry-On. A little bit low, 2-2. Here's the 2-2, and there's a little pop foul coming back toward the box seats and into them. Mark Carry-On's going to need a new bat after that one. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes. Braves have played baseball this month almost as if by formula. Get the good starting pitching, keep you in the ball game.
We'll score in the 8th or 9th.
And Brad Clontz will get the win. Brad Clontz didn't have a single win on June 27th. He's 1 pitch away perhaps from being 3 wins behind Greg Maddux. He is. Braves do it again, a 5-run 9th inning. They win it by a final score of 6-2. And now lead the Phillies again by 7 full games in the National League East.
How appropriate that our final out is recorded. A grounder to third base, Chipper Jones, because he is our AutoZone player of the game. The game-tying RBI in the 9th inning, scored the go-ahead run. That doesn't tell you the whole story. He scored it by some really, really good base running, getting into scoring position on a fly ball to right. Chipper Jones is our AutoZone player of the game. We'll total it up, put a lid on it right after this timeout. Good night for the Braves. They win this one, the first of 3 here in San Francisco. 5 runs in the top of the 9th inning. That does the Giants in. 6 runs, 6 hits, no errors, and only 2 stranded for the Braves. For the Giants, 2 runs, those coming early on Manwaring's homer. 4 hits, an error, and they stranded 2. Brad Clontz, have yourself a good July. 6-0. An earned run average of zip. He is now 7-1. Rod Beck took the loss. He's now 4-5. 19th win. With 1 more win, the Braves can set a new Atlanta record. 21,090. Quick ball game, 2 hours and 11. And there you are, Pete. That's the formula for the month of July, looks like.
And the Braves are once again 7 games ahead of the Phillies in the National League East. Tomorrow afternoon, game 2 in this series. Greg Maddux goes for his 11th win for Atlanta. He'll be opposed by left-hander Terry Mulholland. Stay tuned next for Live from the House of Blues, featuring the Neville Brothers, Tom Jones, and the Dave Matthews Band. All coming up next on TBS. Until tomorrow, for Don Sutton, Skip Caray, Joe Simpson, our entire TBS crew, Pete Van Wieren from Candlestick Park for another 9th inning comeback for Atlanta. Final score, Braves 6, Giants 2. Good night, everyone.
This has been a presentation of Turner Sports.